Yahtzee, a game created by snobs and played by maximum security prisoners. It's also one of the most essential dice games out there and a must for any gamer. You should know it, and it's part of the Playing Games Essential Dice Games series. Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to Playing Games. Please comment, like, and subscribe. That's the only combination better than a Yahtzee. Yahtzee is known by many names, such as Yacht, Yahtzee, Generala, and Poker Dice. Sure. And it's a sequenced dice game. The objective is to score the most points to win. This is done in Yahtzee by rolling 5 dice and creating specific combinations which have unique point values. Setup. To play, all you'll need are 5 dice, a pencil, and a scorecard. And some people like to roll the dice in a cup, but that's totally optional. However, the scorecard is what makes this game work. That's a must. So if you don't have one, don't worry, I've got you. You can get an official Playing Games printable PDF in the description below. You're on your own with the dice and the pencil though. Yahtzee or Yacht can be played with 2 or more people. Feel free to play solo as well. To determine who goes first, each player rolls 5 dice. The player with the highest total starts the game. Play then continues clockwise. Gameplay. So when the first player goes, they roll all 5 dice. The player decides which dice to keep and which to re-roll. You can re-roll up to 2 more times on a turn. After your final roll, choose a category in which to score your dice. Here's the thing, you must write a score in one of the categories, even if that score is a 0. This is not optional. A game is played over 13 rounds, with each player taking turns rolling and scoring. At the end of 13 rounds, the player with the highest total wins. You can use your scorecard to put in both players, or you can have one player and then you have space for multiple rounds. That may sound simple enough, however, the scoring categories can trip a lot of people up, so let's go over those. The 13 rounds are separated by 2 sections, an upper section and a lower section. The first categories for scoring are for collecting 1s through 6s. For 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, score the total number of what's shown on their face. So if I was rolling for 3s, 2 3s would give me 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. If I had a third 3, 3 times 3 is 9. If I had a fourth, it would be 12, and the maximum 5 3s would give me 15 points. So if you rolled 3 3s, that's 9 points. If you rolled 2 6s, that's 12 points, and so on. The lower section contains harder to get combinations such as 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, full house, a small straight, which are 4 consecutive numbers, a large straight, which are 5 consecutive numbers, chance, which is the total of all shown face values. And of course, there's the 5 of a kind, known as Yahtzee. These are the categories you want to go for first because they're harder to get. If you roll a 4 of a kind, it's the same deal as a 3 of a kind. You take the total of the 4 of a kind, which are 16 here, 4 times 4, and you add the 5th die. 16 plus 3 is 19. So my total score for 4 of a kind would be 19. A full house, which is a pair and a 3 of a kind, scores 25 points. For 3 of one number and 2 of another. A small straight, which are 4 consecutive numbers, such as 1 through 4, 2 through 5, or 3 through 6, scores 30 points. A large straight, which are 5 consecutive numbers, such as 1 through 5 or 2 through 6, scores 40 points. If all 5 of your dice match, Yahtzee, that's a 5 of a kind. It's the best combo and it scores 50 points. Also, if you get a Yahtzee, say Yahtzee. You've earned it. On each turn, you can have up to 3 rolls. The first roll will be made with all 5 dice. Keep as many or as few dice as you want, and you can re-roll a second and a third time. If you want to keep your dice even on the first roll, you can and score from there. But you can't roll more than a third time. Use your extra 2 dice rolls wisely. Even if your first roll wasn't lucky, your second or third one might be. After a player's turn is done, they must score in one of the 13 boxes. If their combinations score no points, they'll have to put 0 in one of the 13 boxes that are remaining. Roll all 5 dice, then you can choose which numbers you want to collect the most of. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so what I see is I have 2 4s and then 3 random numbers. I can try for 6s if I want, 2s and 1s, and keep these individual ones, but since I have 2 4s, I think I have a better chance of scoring on 4s. So I get to take these 3 dice and re-roll them. Look at that. So I got a third 4, that's great. So I've just increased my score by 4 points there. And I have one more roll to go. I'll roll the last 2. Okay. So this is interesting. I have 3 4s. So if I want to go and score for my 4s category, I could do that right now. And 4 times 3 is 12. That's a good score. The maximum score you could get there is 4 times 5, right? 20. I also have 3 of a kind and 2 of a kind, a pair of 1s and 3 4s, which is a full house. That's scored in the lower section here. I might not get another chance to score a full house. That could be a lucky roll for me right there. So I would, instead of scoring this in the 4s category, put it down here in the full house category. And now I have a score of 25 points for that. In Yahtzee, one of the great strategies is to figure out which categories score more and try for those first, because they're harder to get. And then if you don't get them here, maybe you just score a 0 or a 1 in the ones category. And that's not bad because the max score there is only 5 points. Typically, there is some confusion about how to score rolls in the lower section, and you might see different numbers on different score sheets. Yacht or Yahtzee has been published by many different game companies, so just be aware of these differences and get familiar with your chosen scorecard, or mine. Tips. Here are some of my tips to help you get an edge on your opponents. First, focus on getting your full houses, small straights, and big straights early in the game, as they can be more difficult to achieve later on. Secondly, keep pairs of dice, as they can be useful for scoring in categories such as 3 of a kind or 4 of a kind, or as mentioned, Yahtzee. My third tip is to keep an eye on your opponent. They might have a great strategy, and it could be useful to lift it for yourself. One piece of advice is try to score big in the upper section, because there's a bonus if your upper section total is 63 or more points. You get to add a bonus of 35 more points to your top score. Many players overlook this and lose out because they don't get that bonus at the end of the game. Yahtzee is a game for both snobs and slobs. It's thought to have been invented in a Canadian country club back in 1938, hence the name Yacht. That said, it became popular across all wealth brackets. And in the 1970s, it became the go-to game for prisoners. They fashioned dice from scraps of paper and even rolled them in a fancy cup, which happened to be toilet paper rolls. More on how to play craps in this video. Sorry about that. But really, check out that video, it's good. There's a reason Yahtzee continues to be popular year after year. It's a great game. It's super fun. It has some similarities to poker. Most of the game is up to chance and risk, but with a little strategy, you can have an edge over your opponents. And that's Yahtzee! Please comment, like, and subscribe to help keep this channel alive. Also, help support the channel by digitally donating. You are great. See you next time on Playing Games.